Where did your entrepreneurship journey start?
So I grew up, my dad was an entrepreneur in the insurance world. I grew up learning the door-to-door sales and just how to go out, talk to people, get over the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Right.
The number one best skill set you can learn in life is sales. I mean, you simply talk to any millionaire or billionaire. They said, hey, how do I be, like, what's the number one skill set I can learn to become successful? They're going to tell you sales.
100%.
Get into sales. You're constantly selling.
Yeah.
Whether your job is sales or not, you're always selling yourself. And the truth is, and so you look at pastors. Pastors, that's a high level sales position. If you're in a leadership position, if you're a CEO, if you're a manager, you're constantly selling your people on themselves. People want to be led by somebody that has a higher level belief in them than themselves.
Yeah, one of the best insights I got on that was, confidence comes from clarity. And so when you're centered in who you are and your actual being as God designed you to be, that's when you can come from that place of rest. So therefore, every word hits more and you can say less. Even in sales, you want to come from that place of rest. If you're internally anxious and you have the seas or just splashing waves all over the place, you're gonna basically splurge on this person and be like, I don't trust you. It's you're not even trying to sell. It's just you want to be fully.
Welcome to another episode of Prosper Pod. Today, I'm here with the one and only the man. What's up, Mason?
What's up, brother?
Dude, so I got to give you a proper intro. Mason has over 160,000 customers helped on his business, the StampedeNetwork.com. You have over 650K, 700K followers across all platforms. You have 3 million streams on Spotify and Apple Music within 5 months. Didn't even know you made music before you told me 2 minutes ago. You've topped Mount Kilimanjaro. You've led a revival in Pakistan. Recently got engaged. Congrats, by the way. That's huge. Bro. And you're releasing your first book, The Unseen, April 12th.
Yes, sir, bro. I got a lot going on.
All glory to God.
Amen.
Where did your entrepreneurship journey start?
So I grew up, my dad was an entrepreneur in the insurance world. So, I grew up learning the door-to-door sales and just how to go out, talk to people, get over the fear of rejection. Yeah. Right? Even just doing the fundraisers for football, right? I'd go door to door and try to sell the value cards and all that stuff. And that's
door to door builds so much character.
Dude, big time. Best. Yeah. That's where I'd make my money for the summer, when I was a kid, right?
As soon as my kids become of age, immediately, the first thing they're doing, knocking doors.
Bro, 100%.
Getting a sales job for a door-to-door company.
100%. It's missionary and evangelism work, but you're getting paid physically to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you make good money. As long as you don't suck.
Facts, bro. Yeah. So that was kind of the intro to just learning the sales side of things and just realizing how much sales is life.
Yes.
Not trying to really posture as much as be of service and give value. Right. And meet people where they're at. So it's that art of persuading, not for the sake of just getting a sale, which I had to learn this over time, but is this the right person, for what this is? And genuinely being okay if not. Yes. It's hey, the sale's already been made because, I have value in who I am. That's what I've had to learn over time.
And the number one best skill set you can learn in life is sales. I mean, you simply talk to any millionaire or billionaire. They said, hey, how do I be, what's the number one skill set I can learn to become successful? They're going to tell you sales.
100%.
Get into sales.
Yeah.
And so you're constantly selling.
Yeah.
Whether your job is sales or not, you're always selling yourself. And the truth is, not that I agree with it, but it's the truth. It's not necessarily the person that's right, or it's the person that can articulate their points the best that wins. Facts. And has influence. Yeah. And so you look at pastors. Pastors, that's a high level sales position. If you're in a leadership position, if you're a CEO, if you're a manager, you're constantly selling your people on themselves. People want to be led by somebody that has a higher level belief in them than themselves, is the truth.
Yeah, one of the best insights I got on that was, confidence comes from clarity.
Yes.
Right. And so when you're centered in who you are and your actual being as God designed you to be, that's when you can come from that place of rest. So therefore, every word hits more and you can say less. Right. So that's why pastors are able to be in this sales position. They're not really trying to sell as much as embody and be a lamp. Right. But, even in sales, you want to come from that place of rest. if you're internally anxious and you have the seas or just splashing waves all over the place, you're going to like basically splurge on this person and be like, I don't trust you. You know, so it's like you want to come from that place of rest so that you can have the clarity to actually see them because you've seen yourself.
Yes.
Right? It's like you're not even trying to sell. It's just you want to be fully you.
Yes.
And that's it.
Conscious congruent living turns confusion into clarity.
Exactly.
And that's why as a kid, the number one thing my parents just emphasized into me was always tell the truth.
Yeah.
No matter what, always tell the truth.
100%.
Because you can see it on people. Like if somebody is a pathological liar, they don't have confidence.
Yeah.
They don't carry themselves appropriately. Like you feel that energy.
Yeah.
And people and we're so good at sensing that and
Facts.
feeling that.
Yeah, it's that lockdown, like constricted energy.
Yeah, like you know when you're talking to somebody and they're full of crap.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what it is.
Facts,
but you
bro.
just know.
Yeah, bro.
You just know.
100%.
And in business, like some people have said, people that know me, they know me for me.
Yeah.
But like some people would be like, oh, like Jonah's an asshole or Jonah's this or Jonah's that. It's like, no, I'm direct and I always tell the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Regardless of
rooted
how it
in the
makes you feel.
truth. You know what is true in the moment and you just speak it.
And same thing with the best people in life, the ones that truly care about us, they're going to tell us what we need to hear even if we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
The ones in my circle, they're not afraid to call me out. If I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing and they say, hey, Jonah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like I expect them to like, even if I don't want to hear it in the moment, and then I'll reflect on it and be like, okay, maybe that wasn't the best thing to say, or maybe that wasn't the right decision. You're right.
Yeah.
People that don't care about you, they're just going to let you do whatever you want.
Bro, that's what the Bible talks about. The wounds of a friend are faithful.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it's like we love to hear the sweetness and the things that feel good. And that's something I've wrestled with too. You know, it's like I've had to learn how to receive conviction and not push it away. You know, because it's like it can wound you. You don't want to accept these things in the moment, but it's like going through that process of, you know what, there is something inside of me, and listening to that with humility is actually what brings out the growth. Like you have to crush something down before something else can raise up.
Yes.
It's an exchange and sacrifice game.
You talk a lot about entrepreneurs finding rest. What do
Yeah.
you mean by that?
So I myself and my journey have come from the place of, you know, like I was talking about moving down to, you know, Tampa. I was in this constant like fight or flight of, am I going to make it? Am I going to hit this? You know, and I realized too, over time, a lot of my story was trying to reconcile like my beliefs around my worth with, you know, my father, trying to get away and prove people wrong. Like, no, I'm going to show you I'm valuable because I'm going to do this. I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I'm not even going towards what I want. I'm trying to avoid the feeling of being inadequate. You know, so it's like, and I do that by overcompensating in success rather than realizing, hey, no, there's actually something inside of me that's a wound that's driving this. And so no matter how much I get and do, I never feel like I'm enough. I never feel like I do enough. Nothing satisfies me. I see the worst in people. I see all their problems. I don't see anything good. It's hard for me to raise people up because I'm always tearing myself down, right? So this is the same exact internal dialogue I've gone through. And it wasn't until I saw that wound, and we have to slow down enough and get out of this fight or flight of thinking, hey, if I take like a minute to like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day to just chill out and be with myself and not avoid these thoughts of anxiety coming up, maybe they're telling me something underneath the surface. Maybe that's like that little kid inside that has a story and is wounded and needs attention. Like we have to go in and reparent ourselves, right? And be there in presence, because that pain is going to constantly be there. And the more we go and try and run away from it, the more it chases us. Of course, when we slow down, what happens is it catches up.
Yep.
Right. So
Depression can't catch a moving target.
yeah. And you can't release something that you refuse to look at. It's like it has to clear out. This is energetic. And so once you do that, you distill that energy and you can enter a place of rest, and you realize, like, you know, for me, I was thinking, hey, I've been doing this because I was feeling like my only value is in what I built. I thought it was only from like building a big business and all that stuff. And it wasn't until I got to a place of accepting myself and seeing who I actually am and what I do love that I was able to start going into music, exploring, like bringing the creative things out of like, hey, you know, I do have an artist soul. Like I've been trying to just be the striver and performer instead of being present with myself and realizing like, you know what, I'm not trying to be like a multi-trillionaire business person, because that's just not me. That's not what I'm about. I'm here to bring my soul into the world and express that through the avenues that God wants me to do it. And through that, you actually get better results, less effort, right? Because this, dude, I put like 5 videos out of this music so far, and it's at 3 million streams.
Yeah.
I literally have done nothing, bro. Like in the scheme of things, it's all God, because it's coming from a place of pure alignment and him pushing it.
Yes.
Right. And so it's like you have the results, and that's where you look around and you're like, I'm not doing anything. We can give him the glory, because I chose to do that from a place of rest and calling rather than forcing myself into what I think is right.
Yes. How has toxic masculinity affected young men in today's day and age?
Well, so you see like the Tateisms and all that crap today. It speaks to the wounded part of men who didn't have a father figure who was spiritually grounded and leading with love, right? Because like we can have truth, but if you don't have love in it, it doesn't really matter. Like you can have the harshness, the distance, be like, yeah, my dad says the truth, but it's like he's really distant, and you can get that like I'm never enough, right? You could get maybe smacked in the face or like whatever your punishment is as a kid, and true things could be said, but it's like God doesn't do that to you. Like God doesn't do that to us. So it's like you can grow up in that upbringing of that harshness, or even just a passive father, you know, where it's like, yeah, my dad never like gave me these skills. I feel like he wasn't the man I needed. I'm going to go out and try and prove it. Right. And so these dudes in that manosphere, just like the projection of that pain, that's all it is. Right. So they're seeing that and they're like, yeah, I resonate with that. It's like, yeah, because your wound is seeing it and you haven't healed the wound. So it's like, I'm going to follow the bigger version of the smaller part that's inside of me that I'm not giving enough attention to. Right. And so we get sucked into this red pill thing where, you know, even just in the relationship with women, right? Like dudes will overcompensate and I want to do this. And like, yeah, I don't have to have any accountability, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, your own relationship with your inner feminine energy, which is like that love and the nurturing, you don't nurture yourself, you know? So it's like, how are you going to do that with anyone outside of you? And it reflects, right? So it's this whole inner outer thing where we have to start seeing reality as a mirror to what's going on inside of us. Because that's all it is. That's how God set up the game.
That's such a tight rope to walk on. And I really want to dive into this because this is an interesting topic to me, because I see both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about this before the podcast, and I was like, oh, we got to wait for the podcast to dive into this. Because for me, my dad was very hard on me.
Yeah.
And when I first got into business, I had a lot of rage and a lot of anger.
For sure. Yeah.
and I don't have that as much anymore, but it's still a part of me. And so that was one thing. But the truth was, growing up, I was lazy. I was undisciplined. I was smoking weed. I was not the person that God created me to be.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of young men in today's day and age, they have all this pent up anxiety and anger and frustration. And so it's interesting where, for me, instead of just working through that or letting that go, I took that, I doubled down, and I thought about that, and I fueled that, but I channeled that into something good. Yeah. And I believe that's why Tate is so popular, because we've drifted so far on the other end of this extreme where a good percentage of America are now raised by female mothers.
For sure.
Because the fathers are not present. So they only have that feminine energy. So they haven't been around that masculine energy. So what happens? You become soft.
Facts.
You become soft, and that's why victim culture is such a big thing. That's why people aren't willing to take accountability. That's why people are lazy. And you look at, you know, LGBTQ, homosexuality, like all these things are an all-time high. A lot of that is because the father isn't present. Yeah. So then Tate comes in, and do I agree with everything Tate says? No. But do I think he's made a massive positive impact on society? Yes. Yeah. Just because he says it as is. Is like we have. I don't fully agree with this, and you brought this up. We find our worth in God. Yep. But there's truth to what here's what Tate does. He's a master at articulating good points, but then saying them in such an extreme manner that it triggers people. For sure. Because the algorithm favors the extreme. Yeah. So like if you look at the root of his message, there's truth, but the way he's saying it isn't articulated properly, which is on purpose. But he talks about, hey, as a man, you have to go out there and you have to make something of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But he says men are born with zero in hate and value. Nobody cares about you unless you do something great.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's going to get more views?
Right. Yeah. And so the thing is, like, a lot of what he's saying is true, but it's not coming from a true place. Right. And both can be actually the truth. Right. So it's like we can have that half part of ourself where we lock this aspect of ourselves in the basement, this story that we've told ourselves our entire life or has been told to us, and our psyche will overcompensate in our actions to make up for it. For example, you said lazy. Right? I felt that too. It's like you're lazy. And so what happens? You feel shame. You say, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to shut that in the basement. I'm going to go overcompensate by being a hard worker. Mm-hmm. But what happens is you still have the underlying feeling of like, I'm not doing enough. And so there's this part in the basement that we haven't revisited, and it comes out in these like volcano spurts of energy, or like the hyper discipline. Yes, we want discipline, but we can also choke out the flow of the spirit. And so the reality is, hey, I'm not lazy. I have lazy tendencies because I'm a human, but in reality is I'm geared towards efficiency.
I see.
You see?
I see.
So it's like you have to reconcile the wound into something true, right? You're bringing it back into that middle ground so you're not overcompensating. It's like you take that and be like, what's the gold hidden in this? Lust, for example. It's like, hey, I'm not a lustful person, so I'm going to be like ultra pious. It's, no, I have a gear towards intimacy, and I'm seeking deep intimacy, right? And that only starts with like seeing yourself, right? And so pride comes from like, hey, you're not enough. You're not good enough. Okay, I'm going to go out and be the best. But it's like, no, I can only just be who I am, the best of me.
Let me get your opinion on this then. So for us, any business you're building, the truth is it's boring. It's going to take a lot of work.
For sure.
It's going to suck most times, and you're not going to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when, if you're just fueled off of motivation or emotion, that's fleeting, and you're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
So you need to operate on discipline. And I grew up in South Dakota. I come from a generation of farmers. And that was one of the biggest things my dad instilled in me. He taught me to work hard. I saw my dad work hard. I saw my grandpa work hard. And when you go through, it's that saying that hard times create hard men create good times, good times create soft men. And it's that cycle that repeats.
Yeah.
And so my grandfather, they went through the Great Recession, where back in the 1930s, there were men that would wake up at 3 a.m., go stand at the train station at 4 a.m. to hopefully go dig ditches for 25 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And they would literally get in physical altercations over a job, like, because they needed to work and provide for their family that badly.
Right.
And so you see like people that have gone through that, and that work ethic, and just I would honestly say the lessons that teaches you.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, it's very biblical. God teaches us to work hard.
Yeah.
And the truth is, especially in today's society, it's never been easier to win, but it's also never been easier to do nothing, because we have so many distractions.
For sure.
So like you really have to have that discipline, and that vigilance would be the word I'm looking for, to do what you need to do. And for me and Claudia in our life, dude, we're sacrificing our 20s, and we work a lot, and we're building a big business, but we're sacrificing our 20s. So in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, we can spend time with our family, doing what God has called us to do, and doing other things, and building that platform and that base. So what's your opinion on that?
So I think, if we look back to the past, like those are all great things. We're doing that too. The real thing we have to look at is what's the heart posture behind all of this. Like if we're coming from making discipline the God rather than God the God, it's different, right? Like back then with our grandparents, like they did all those things because there was a heavy faith culture, right? Like they had the higher purpose. And that's the point, is like, we can show up and it can suck to build a business. Like, I've gone through the grind too.
Yeah.
But it's like, it only really sucks if you lose sight of the purpose. And so that's why we have to be rooted in faith, and true faith through Jesus Christ, which I've found, like going through all these different spiritual paths, there is no other answer. Like until you have that, everything will feel fruitless, and it will feel like a grind, because you're not being driven by the thing that allows you to do those things from a place of flow in the first place, right? It's like you don't have a business, bro. You have a ministry.
Yeah.
You have a ministry of people that you can develop into fruitfulness.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like you're not here to sell insurance, right? You're here to develop people who help provide safety in their being to the person they're talking to on the phone.
Yes.
That's the insurance.
100%.
And so, and from that lens, you can literally go into any business, whatever project, and understand, because you're rooted in the highest purpose possible, you can just transfer that and you know what it's for, right? Like you can show up as you, and you can take those skill sets into whatever vehicle you want, and it can become purposeful, right? Without feeling like a grind. Obviously there's ones more aligned with you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, it's not like today we live in this culture of disconnection from God, so instead we have the self-improvement and discipline culture where self has become the God.
Yes.
Rather than God.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you have to have purpose and vision, because identity determines what you do. It's not doing and then you become someone. It's you have to be, do, and then you have, right? If you've listened to Myron Golden at all.
Yes.
I love Myron.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a biblical model. It's
yeah.
Like I have to be the person, and I naturally do the things because of that. The doing is the fruits, right? Like I am the vine, you're the branches. Whoever abides in me will bear much fruit, for without me you can do nothing, right? If Jesus is this vine, right, we're these branches. A branch, if it gets cut off, it just disintegrates on the ground. A branch doesn't have to really try and do anything to be attached. It just has to stop blocking the flow of life that's being given to it.
Yes.
Right. And that's us. You don't have to, and through that, the life just comes through you and it sprouts into works, but it's not like you're worshiping the works. You're just allowing yourself to receive the life force, and it turns into things.
Man, you're speaking truth. And that's one thing I've really been working on myself over the past year. Just developing a deeper relationship with God. And for the first couple of years, I was relying on my own strength.
Yeah.
And realizing that we're nothing without him.
Yeah.
And now transferring that to relying on the Holy Spirit for strength.
Yeah, bro.
And
yeah.
I gotta share a story with you. This actually just happened the other day.
Yeah.
And this will be a good segue adding onto this topic, where I was so my buddy Jacob pulls up, and he's got the brand new Huracan Evo. And I have wanted a Lamborghini Huracan since I was 14 years old when they first came out. I had it on my vision board. Uh-huh. I'm like, my whole plan is like, I'll get the McLaren, then eventually get the Lambo. And he pulls up with the drop top Evo. Is like the exact spec I wanted. And then I'm driving it yesterday, and he's like, let me drive it. And we're driving to dinner, and I'm playing with the paddle shifters. And I'm like, dude, like this is the next car. And I'm like, and it's cool. But I remember, and then I read that the next morning I woke up early. God woke me up at 3:45 a.m. And he's like, you just need to read your Bible. So I was like, all right. So I read Ecclesiastes. Yeah. And you already know what I'm going to say. Yeah. But in that, he was reading King Solomon, and he says, I have amassed massive amounts of wealth. I have all the castles, all the houses, all the wives, livestock, everything my heart has ever desired, just to realize that it is all futile and worthless, and none of it matters.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I was like, bam.
Yeah, bro.
That struck me.
Yes.
And so nothing against those things. But if you make them your idol or your God, or you put those above God, then you're severing your relationship with him, and you're going to spend eternity in hell.
Yes.
And so seeking to God and putting him number one, putting him first, and developing all of your strength and energy through the Lord, and making him the foresight of your attention.
Yeah, bro. And it's like little choices that you have to make in each moment.
Yeah.
And they avalanche into bigger versions of your being over time. Mm-hmm. But it's like, just don't make those little compromises, and reorient your vision of like, hey, why am I in where I'm at in the first place? Why does God have me here? Right? It's like one of the best things I heard on Entrepreneurs it's about the story of Joseph of Arimathea.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was the one who got Jesus off of the cross. Right. And so he's a small character in that. But if you look deeper at it, this was from another podcast I was listening to, it's talking about how when Jesus died, like what was the most vulnerable thing about him when he died? It's his body on the cross. Like that was the most vulnerable thing. Correct. So this guy, Joseph of Arimathea, right? Like back in that culture, they would just take the body off and throw it in the ditch pretty much, like the day after or whatever. And this guy, he was on the high council of the Jewish leaders.
Yeah.
And he got permission to go get Jesus's body down, right? He was a man with affluence, influence, and money, right? And so he took his wealth and himself, he got Jesus's body down, and he got him into a tomb, right? And so the whole lesson of it is what's the point of entrepreneurship? It's to use the resources God gave you to save the body when it's most vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's what he did with Jesus. That's what we're here to do with others, right? It's like, it's not about us. It's like we've been giving resources to be able to go in as like a Minuteman, right? To assist the body when needed, to help grow and tend to the garden and grow people.
It's the parable of Jesus and the coins.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that as a kid, and when I read that and when I heard that in church, I'm like, well, the guy that kept it safe, made sure nothing happened to it, he's burning in hell. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
But then when I remember, I was probably 12 or 13 years old, 14 years old. I remember I realized, oh, wow, he wasn't talking about money. He was talking about talents.
Yeah.
And so the talents that God gives us, if God makes you good at business and he allows you to build a big business and he blesses you with that, then use that to steward him and use that to showcase other people and help impact other people's lives.
100%.
From the revenue that comes from it to the people that are inside of it.
Facts.
That's a big goal of what we're doing, where I was telling somebody the other day, we're just baiting and switching people.
Yeah, dude, that's all it is.
They come in to make a lot of money, and they do. But in the process, they end up becoming a better person. They develop a relationship with God. Like last Sunday, we had a full row of people in church with us. They get their health in check. They develop a better body. They're in the gym.
Yes.
They end up becoming a better person, which is most important.
100%, bro. That's what we do in Stampede too. It's like people come in for, obviously our products are natural and they heal you from the inside out. But it's like we're not going just for physical. We're going for mental, spiritual, emotional, everything. So it's like we want to transform you fully. I don't want you to just be relying on us. I want you to become a new person, right? And it's like through our email list, all that, start talking about God.
Yeah. So, well, for those that don't know, so what is that?
The Stampede Network?
Yes.
So brand started back in 2021. God had given me a vision the year before of starting some movement where I saw like these horses running together, right? And it was like a self-improvement is kind of lonely, let's do it together type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I saw these visions of horses. I always had an affinity towards them. My favorite movie growing up was Spirit. You remember that animated movie? Yeah. And there's a scene in that he closes his eyes and jumps the gap, bro. It was the first time I saw faith in action as a kid. But like that spoke to me. It showed me something. And I saw this vision and what the spirit of the horse really is. It's like courage, boldness, running into the unknown and faith. And so I built this movement. And it started out as it was going to be a group, and then it turned into like clothing and all these things. And it took a lot of time before I even got my first sale, right? So I started doing this towards, it was like the last semester of college. Was like, hey, I'm either going to go get a job or whatever. And I'd started growing TikTok at the time. And so that started getting traction. I was like, I'm just going to go all the way in on this. I'm going to move back home into my parents' basement, right? So I started doing some coaching, trying to build this up, selling programs. Nothing was going for like freaking 7 months, bro. I was losing my mind, getting sick all the time. And I was up in Ohio, so it's like you get towards the winter and you're just like in jail.
So depressing.
Yeah. But, finally had an epiphany thanks to my dad.
Not to cut you off there, but before we started the podcast, we were talking about your circadian rhythm.
Okay, yeah.
And so I've been wearing my Whoop for the past couple of years, so I have the data to prove it.
Yeah.
Where in the winter time, I would have my sleep was not as good. I'd wake up more tired, wouldn't have as much energy. And I've noticed that especially in the morning, but if I can get at least 45 minutes of sunlight, preferably earlier on in the day, my sleep is so much better the next day.
For sure, bro.
And so now I actually have the data of my sleep and recovery from when I was living in Chicago.
Yeah.
And there was 5 months of gray versus the winter now. And it's night and day.
Bro, if you're up there.
The difference the sun makes on your body.
Yeah, if you're up there, you got to get a red light, bro. Yeah. Like, you have to get a red light.
Or just move to Florida.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, come work for Jonah.
Hey, it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, bro, it's nice down here. So anyway, it's had this epiphany of, like, I had drop shipping experience from 4 years before. And at that time when I was getting into it, I was also learning some lifestyle branding. I didn't know it at the time, but like that was still in my belligerent phase, right? So I was in frat life, and I made this brand called Down to Darty. I had day party brands. And I wanted to be like the next Bilzerian, bro. Like I was in that red pill.
Was it like a Nelk Boys style?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make something around that. Completely freaking bombed, bro.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize looking back, it was my first attempt at lifestyle brand. And so, you know, I get to this thing with Stampede at the end of 2021, and I realized because of my followings in holistic wellness, healing, fitness, all this stuff, what they want is they want health related things, right? And what is that? It's going to be something supplement, right? And so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want my identity to be a supplement guy. I didn't like the industry. I didn't like how people ran it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I do this, I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm going to build it on the values of truth, trust, and transparency. It's the 3 T's, right? And so that is what I built it off of. Parlayed my last bit of money and connections and all this, and God literally led me to Be Bread just out of nowhere. And I knew looking at it, it was the answer to what we needed. Bro, first video sold out the store 10 times over in a day. Hyper viral. It was crazy. And it was the most money I'd ever seen. I had to cut off sales because like we would have had 3-month delays.
How much did you guys do?
That day it was like 26K.
Nice.
You know, and so there's like 1,000 sales or something. I was way underpricing it too.
Yeah.
I had like no profit, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have easily cracked a 6-figure day had I let that thing kept running. It was crazy. So anyway, first time I had this like jet fuel, but then I had the systems mindset and all that from like drop shipping and before.
Yeah.
So I took that cash and just, you know, started scaling it up a little bit on ads. Those were ripping, but it was one single video. And so luckily I had a team at the time show up, take over the God sent them, right? Like marketing team comes in perfect time, helps us get to a stable point as that ad was dwindling, start scaling back up again. And then, yeah, just over time, literally, bro, I look back, I'm like, I've done things. Yes. There's a lot of skills I've had to learn, but I really just feel like it's been me becoming more of myself, and then the business has just expanded, right? And the right people will show up at the right times.
Yeah.
And trusting that.
Yeah.
And seeing it as an arm, right? Like if my arm is sick, like what in me is sick?
Yeah.
What's going on? So trying not to worship that. I was at the beginning. It was my provider. It was my source. I wasn't fully in relationship with God, even though that first night before it exploded was the first time I really prayed. I didn't feel that yet, like that deeper connection. So yeah, ended up just expanding it, bro. Had a couple of years of just like tripling, doubling all the stuff revenue each year, and got extremely hyper ambitious in 2024. I was trying to go from like 6.5 million to 20 million in a year. And I mean, I believed we could,
Yeah.
but I wasn't the person who could hold it yet. And so, bro, burning cash left and right, have people in the same freaking position. It was a nightmare, dude. And so we did this like massive thing, got to almost our first like $1 million month, and then just dropped. And then for the rest of that year, it was like, no matter how many videos we put out, supernatural hand against it. Like it did not matter what we did. It was like 1% decline every day. Bro, I was freaking getting stripped by God, like hardcore. Cause he's like, you get to that point, you will literally be an idiot and you will probably die if you get that. And you're not yet the person who can even carry it. Right. So it was grace, bro. And I learned patience. I learned humility. I learned how to rest in his presence, even when I couldn't see results. But it was a freaking drag of a year, bro. It was so depressing, but it was so like expanding at the same time. And he kept it stable, you know, like that was there. There wasn't really like war and conflict as much as there was before. And then, you know, I ended up bringing my business partner in full time, you know, because I finally learned how to let go of control and stop trying to lead everything alone. So he came in, took massive weight off of me. I had more time then to spend with God. And from there, we've had way more stability. Yes, there's been ups and downs and lots of switches and, of course, different challenges, but expanding new products, just us growing deeper as a team. Like him and I, our leadership calls are us doing Bible studies and praying over the business and just discussing things in the spirit first, right? Because it's a ministry of healing people is what it is. Like we sell products, yes, but it's like we're here to heal people and transform their identity.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that when God gives us those small wins, he's testing our character to see if we have the level of character and development in order to possess those wins.
Yeah, bro.
Because you're never going to outproduce your level of personal development.
Yeah.
So if you can't be a good steward with what little God has blessed you with, well, why would you expect him to give you more?
Facts, bro. Yeah, that's the parable of the talents.
He's testing your character.
Yeah, he's like, you buried all your stuff. I'm gonna give it to this guy who had 10. He turned it into 20.
Yep.
Speaking
of which, this divine nectar. Is this one of your supplements?
This is, yeah. So this is.
So what is this?
Yeah. So bee bread infused heather honey.
Oh wow.
So you've heard of Manuka, right?
No.
Manuka honey.
Manuka. Maybe.
You've probably seen it.
I'm sure I've seen it.
It's pretty big. But different honeys and different strains do different things, right? So Manuka is very antiviral, antibacterial.
Okay.
And this has heather honey, unpasteurized, right? Unprocessed, glyphosate-free, pesticide, like everything.
Nice.
Processing through wooden filters instead of plastic, right? To keep microplastics out. But heather honey is one of the most, antioxidant rich. I don't know why my brain blanked for a sec. So one of the most antioxidant rich honeys, right? And so we made a performance honey out of this, taking bee bread too. Bee bread is a highly bioavailable fermented form of bee pollen, right? So bees will collect pollen, right? And we can eat bee pollen. It's like 4% bioavailable, right?
Yeah, I used to eat it a lot.
Yeah, and so a lot of people eat that, but we don't realize like our body just releases all of it. So we don't really use any of it. And so the bees will take that and they take it to the hive, they put enzymes on it and crack it open and it becomes 98% bioavailable, right? And so it's this like super highly absorbable super substance and has 250 nutrients in there, all the aminos, bioflavonoids, antioxidants like glutathione, all this stuff, right? And so you're taking
glutathione in there?
Yeah. And which is also a precursor to NAD. Mm-hmm. Right? So it helps create natural NAD in the body. And so the point of this is basically it's like you look at the sun, right? Pollen is fed by the sun.
Yes.
Bees take pollen, they bring it to the hive, turn it into this. You're eating like 98% bioavailable sunlight. So it's like a solar tablet when you have just the straight bee bread form. But anyway, we took that and
which is essentially NAD.
Yeah, NAD, but also vitality helps release testosterone at night. So luteinizing hormone, right, which is a precursor to releasing testosterone.
Yeah.
So it drops into your boys, and then they just start going to work.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, bee bread is just this highly like nutrient-rich multivitamin, straight from nature, powered by the sun. We took that and we put it into the honey, right? And so most honey in the U.S. too is adulterated or fake.
Yep. It's so bad.
Pasteurized.
It's so bad.
Bro, they put like corn syrup in some of them, so it's not even always real.
That's the majority of honeys in grocery stores.
Yeah, bro.
That's why we only buy our honey locally sourced.
Facts.
From a farmer now.
Yeah, it's nuts, bro. And so anyway, we put that in here and it becomes a performance honey. All right, so there's like all these little nuances to it, but I was like, I want to get the best freaking honey on the planet, the most nutrient dense. You take it before workout, after workout, before sleep. You can throw in your smoothies, whatever. But you're actually getting real energy from the sun instead of us just having to chug caffeine all the time, which isn't even energy.
Yeah,
it's actually shutting down the receptors that say we're tired. Right, so we're not even gaining energy. We're just getting faked out into thinking that we're not tired.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so
I'm
you get
sipping my energy drink.
Yeah, and then you get exactly. But you get an adrenaline rush from that because your body's in fight or flight. Like I can't sleep. Mm-hmm. And so the goal of this is heal people from the inside out and give them the energy instead of deplete yourself. Yeah, you gotta take a spoon.
Dude, I want to try this,
bro. It's so fire. So look at this.
Wow.
Like it's Dairy Queen level quality, bro.
There we go. Look at that.
That's how thick.
Look at that.
And that's how thick honey should be. It should be coagulated like that.
Yes.
There you go.
When's the best time to eat this?
You can do it in the morning for a workout. You can do it after.
This looks like a great. I'm gonna feel when I take this. I'm gonna get it juicy.
Bro, it's nice. Yeah, that glycogen in there.
Look at that.
It's good freaking honey, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's nothing like any you've had.
That's really good.
Fire.
Man.
Yeah, so we got that. Just came out with a new electrolyte called Holy Hydrate. I put bee pollen extract 4-to-1 in there, right? Which means that it takes the concentration of what would be in a normal granule,
Yeah.
multiplies it by 4, right? And so this is freaking loaded with not only just the electrolytes that we normally have, we have Redmond sea salt for sodium, but also potassium, magnesium, but you also get 60 plus other nutrients from the bee pollen extract, right? So it's like your macros of the micros and then the micros of the macros, right? So you're just going as deep as you can. Put taurine in there, which helps regulate the sodium potassium pump. So like giving your body the ability to absorb what you're even putting in the first place. And then also D-ribose, which is like a cell fuel, basically. So like the oil to the engine. And so it's just this complete holistic type of electrolyte where my thesis for it is cellular hydration, right? Hydrate from the inside out.
That's really cool. We just got back from Hawaii last week, and in Hawaii we have family on Kauai.
Yeah.
And so Ashley, you'd get along with Ashley really well. So she's my cousin's wife, and she's a holistic doc, not a doctor, but holistic coach.
Okay.
And so she's actually, do you know Carnivore MD? Paul
Yeah.
Saladino? So she's good friends with him.
Okay, nice.
So they have very, very similar philosophies, but just spending time with them on the island, and I mean, they're very off grid. They drink raw milk. Raw
Let's
cheese,
go.
Only grass-fed beef, seafood. So it's just clean diet. They don't even have Wi-Fi in their house.
Oh my
because
God.
of the EMF signals.
Yeah.
So they live a completely holistic, clean life. And it's just really cool to see because they homeschool their kids. So they homeschool their kids. They've instilled the right values in them. They read the Bible and everything else. And it's their kids are genuinely, they're 5 and 2, the healthiest, most cognitively developed kids I've ever seen.
Dude, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, they eat whole foods, worship God, get sunlight, surf.
Yeah.
And they're just in nature.
And bro, like every aspect of the body goes together, you know? So it's like how you align your body is going to help you align your mind and your spirit.
Yeah.
Right? They all lead into one another.
Yeah.
It's like we're one being. It's not like we're this fractured being unless we choose to be.
Yes.
So yeah, like getting in alignment with nature, they're naturally going to experience more clarity. It's a byproduct. That was one of the biggest gateways for me, bro, was fitness. Like that was what helped get me towards God. You know, was the fitness gateway. It started a little bit of like self-worship and, you know, all that stuff and bodybuilder world. But, you know, I started to come in from the mindset of like, what is real transformation? Like, who am I? Who am I trying to become? Learning visualization and all these things, you know, and it just kind of scaled up over time. You know, and so it's like, yeah, doing those things and aligning your physical state with how you're meant to be is going to help bring you closer to the truth.
Couldn't agree more. I gotta ask you. I gotta have you share this.
Yeah,
because you shared the story a little bit. The first time we hung out was actually we were hanging out at New Year's.
Yeah,
and we were talking. Dude, you gotta share the story about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Okay. Yeah, which part you want to hear?
Give them the Cliff Notes.
Okay. Man,
that's a good story.
Yeah, so back in the beginning of 2024, my buddy Jan, ex-Swiss Spec Ops sniper nutcase, he invites me like a month before this trip. He's like, you want to climb Kilimanjaro? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, not really, but I'll go. You know, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Brought up to Courtney. She was like, no, and then just prayed on it overnight. She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, you know, so we started doing our stair climber training and all that in Florida, still at like 0 elevation.
Yeah.
You know, but we're training doing that. So yeah, we went over to Tanzania the end of like January, beginning of February 2024. Bro, this was one of like the most excruciating things I've ever done in my life. I think especially because we're coming from sea level, but also too in Tanzania. The night before, we were going to start climbing, they had a buffet at our hotel. Some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But we got food poisoning hardcore. So it's like we started this journey,
no.
bro. Yeah, like everything coming out of the body is bad.
You're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro while you have food poisoning.
Yeah, bro. It was rough. I mean, freaking, yeah, it was bad. And so anyway, it's like it's 5-day ascent, 2 days coming down. But, by the time we get to day 3, right? Because this is I think 50 to 60 mile total journey, like just to get there.
Yeah.
It's not super steep. It's very just long. And your terrain, it's like going through freaking Minecraft, bro. Like these biomes are changing all the time.
Yeah.
And also another cool thing is as going up the mountain, like you see people living in these stick huts and it just makes you realize like how lucky we are, but they're so happy. They were so happy with nothing. I'm like, God, we're freaking miserable over here with everything. Feel like we never have enough, and you can just see joy on their faces.
Yeah.
As they drink their like well water or whatever. So it's a different perspective.
I've actually got, so one of the guys, he runs the Arizona office. His name's Jake. He's an EMT in Nicaragua, and they went over there and they're doing work in this village, and this guy's house got destroyed. His like little hut thing. So they're like living in this basically shack tent with a dirt floor.
Yeah, bro.
So it's basically just a tent over top, and they're all so this little, probably maybe the size of this table, and it's his whole family is sleeping in there. And they said, hey, we can build you a new house. And he said, I don't want it.
Wow.
He said, this is my house.
Wow. Bro, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. So that was really cool to experience, was just that level of like gratitude for the simplicity and the contentment, like how Paul talks about. You can have little, you can have much, and you're content always.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, this 5-day freaking ascent. It was like day 3, we had to get to the sister mountain, which was Mount Mwenzi. It used to be taller than Kilimanjaro, but these are 2 volcanoes, right? So like, I don't know how long ago that was, but it exploded and it got shrunk down a little bit. So it's like, yeah, it's not the biggest one anymore. But you go there for an acclimation climb for 2 days. You stay there so you can withstand the height you're at. And while we're there, bro, we had the first ever DJ set on Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Like all of our Tanzanian porters, bro, there's like probably, because there's 20 of us in the group, and legally you have to have 3 porters per climber, right? These are the people carrying your stuff and just helping guide you.
Yeah.
And dude, these people are climbing in like suede chukkas with holes in them, and they're holding all your stuff on their head, and they're just booking it while we're choking out with all these gear.
Yeah.
So I'm like, God, I feel like a bum doing this. It's freaking crazy. For $10 a day they're working. And it's just the smiles on their face and the happiness. But we did that DJ set. They're vibing with us. We sponsored it from Stampede.
Let's go.
Right. So it's like,
Let's
my
go.
boy Jack was DJing. You can see in the back Kilimanjaro up on this ridge, bro. It was sick.
That is sick.
Yeah. So
that's fire.
Yeah, we did that. Me and Courtney freaking yakking, just feeling like we're dying.
Oh, Courtney came with you.
Yeah, we were on this trip together. Bro, we were so sick. But that day after, like when we were going from the acclimation mountain over to Kilimanjaro, this area between it is like a full desert just because it's so big. Like Kilimanjaro is 19,500 feet, something like that. So it's a lot of distance between. It was like a 6-hour journey across for us.
And you walked it?
Yeah, but like most of our group got there before us because we were in such bad shape, dude. Like we're going behind rocks to yak and like things coming out of places that shouldn't be coming out. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
And so took like 6 hours to get across this desert. I'm like dying. She's legit like dying. So we're just trying to get there, bro. And we get to base camp finally. Everyone there was already rested up. We get there.
Were you guys thinking about like, hey, just give me a day?
Yeah,
I mean, you guys.
I was determined, and she was too, but like she was not in the shape to go to the top. Like she was fighting me. She had that warrior spirit come out. She's like, no, I was like, you're not going. Like you will literally die. You cannot do it. They were making her like steak that nobody else in the group was getting. We were getting all these like gunky porridges and stuff like that, but she's getting this nice steak, wouldn't eat it. I was like, okay, I'm going to eat your steak if you ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, like we get there probably like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and she's knocked out. She was like, maybe I'll do it. And then you're not doing it. But you have to summit at 10 p.m., right? Because at nighttime, the path going up, it's gravel, but it freezes over. So it actually becomes firm. And so from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., I had like a little moment of dinner, right?
Yeah.
But not much sleep at all. We're exhausted. We had that 6-hour freaking journey across. But I get up at 10 p.m. and it's pitch black, bro. Like you got your headlamps on and all that stuff. And they're split into 2 climbing groups. I was in the slower one. Sounds like, I don't know if I'm freaking, I got to go at a slow pace. Half of my group going up got medevaced, bro. Like pulmonary edema, which is like swelling of the lungs. One has swelling in the brain, so cerebral. One is having heart palpitations. They had to get like medevaced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had to go.
Is that common?
I don't know. I just know half of my group got taken away. It's like they just had to go.
Were they okay?
Yeah, they ended up recovering, but if they kept going, I don't know what would have happened. Yeah. But it's like, dude, when you're going up, the path is probably like this wide.
Yeah.
Right? So you're looking over one side, it's like a mile drop. You're like, okay, if I fall, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then you look up and you're never even getting closer to the top, no matter how far you go. Right? And these switchbacks on it, you turn and all of a sudden you're like 10 feet higher than you just were, right? So these were crazy steep switchbacks and you're going snail pace and the oxygen up there is low, right? So it's like every breath you exhale feels like your brain's being crushed like a can. It was tough. So you have to really watch it.
Yeah.
One of the dudes in my group, Kevin, they had to take his poles away because he kept like falling on him or something. So he's walking in front of me. I'm in the back.
I feel like that's the last thing you do if he's falling.
Yeah,
he's falling over.
Yeah, it was just
I'd
like
give him some sturdier poles, or he's gonna fall off the edge.
He kept dragging him too, or something like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
But yeah, no, he was starting to lean. I had to slap him at one point, like be like, "Kevin, wake up!" And I said that, and I was like, my brain started to just get destroyed, right? Because I was like, God, you're making me talk. I don't want to talk. So
it's that rough when you're going up.
Yeah, and it's like a freaking 8-hour journey, bro. You go from like 10 p.m. and you get to the top at 6 p.m.
So you do it in a day,
or 6 a.m. No, 10 p.m. at night. You go overnight until like 6 a.m. The sun's coming up. Mm-hmm. So you get up there, you see the sun coming up over the horizon in like Nigeria. So you can see another country over there. And I'm looking at the ground and I realize like it's the clouds. So you're that high up. I'm like, the level I was looking at was where I skydived from. And it was crazy, bro. You can literally see other country up there. But then I look at my guide who's done this 300 freaking times, right? And he goes, all right, guys, let's go to the top. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean we're at the top? He's like, no, we have to go across the ridge. So it's like, oh my God. Okay. So we have another like hour, 30 minutes, hour, whatever it was. Felt like a long time.
Yeah.
That we have to go across like all the ridges. And up there, the wind is smacking you, dude. It's freaking crazy. You feel like you're in a tornado.
How cold does it get?
Bro, my GoPro shut off. Like, it's cold.
Below freezing?
Yeah, with the wind chill, for sure. But you're going across.
So you're wearing like full coats?
Yeah, full coat, like all these layers.
Yeah.
Covering your face, everything. But we're going across.
You don't have to do oxygen though?
No, not on that one. I guess that's
Mount
probably,
Everest you have to.
Yeah, because Everest is 30,000. This one's like 20,000 total. I forget the height of Everest, but there's some like level you have to be at before oxygen. Anyway, you're going across these ice ridges. Dude, like one of the porters in front of me, this guy's walking to check out the path and make sure it's all good. He gets to a point where he slips and he's like turns back and he looks at us. He's like, don't step there. So he points to an area and I go there and I slip. And dude, this is a volcano, right? So a volcano is curved in. I start to slide, bro. And I'm like, I'm about to freaking lose it. I was gonna fall in. So I take my pole and I jam it into the ice to keep me from slipping.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of this thing where it's like bent. Like this pole like saved me. And I'm delusional because I have no oxygen. So I'm like, oh, I almost like fell in, almost died, right? But I slipped on the ice and almost ate it into this thing.
Man.
It was crazy. But yeah, we eventually get across this ridge. And it's like a different planet up there. I cannot describe. It's so hard for me to describe. It's like you see these ice castle type of structures everywhere. Doesn't even make sense. You're going through different like caves and paths and all that. But eventually got to the summit. you can't stay up there very long, right? Because there's no oxygen. A lot of our group was like celebrating. I'm like, how are you guys saying anything right now? But yeah, do that. And then we come down the mountain, which takes about 2.5 or 3 hours. And because the sun has come up at that time, like the dust and the gravel's loosened up. You do this like sand skiing type of motion coming down where like each step you take is like 3 steps. So you feel like you're on the moon a little bit.
Yeah.
But bro, you're going for like 3 hours. So your hamstrings and quads are getting wrecked.
Yeah.
It was the craziest leg day ever. And so, yeah, Courtney had a video of it, but came back into the camp and I'm like waddling in there, bro. I kind of was like pimped out in my gear. I ain't gonna lie. It was a dope fit to climb a mountain.
Yeah.
But I come back into camp. She's like, how are you feeling? I was like, I need water. I need water so bad, bro. But
did you run out of water up there?
Dude, yeah, I was just, and coming down the mountain, you're fried.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. But these locals are just jumping around like they're on a freaking trampoline. I don't understand how they got their energy, bro. But
when you're born there, you're used to it.
Yeah, they're used to it. But yeah, dude, it was one of the hardest challenges, probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, just because of, one, the elongation of the challenge, but 2, like, one of the best lessons I learned was it's not about getting the top, it's who you become on your journey to the top, right? Like, life is a mountain. It's about who you become, because you get up there, you're like, all right, it's time to go down. The view's insane, but the whole point of why you climbed it is to climb it.
Yeah.
And so that, and then also just seeing how small we are, right? This thing is a massive mountain. It's the largest freestanding mountain on the planet, right? And the largest one in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a little zit on the earth. It's so small. And it's like, I'm standing there. I see another country in the distance. This thing is massive, bro. Massive, massive mountain. Like a whole city, and I'm just like, God, I'm so small. I'm so small. God could do this. He could flick this mountain away, literally, like it's a bug.
Yeah.
And it just helps you put in perspective how small we are and just how great he is. And how much we're still loved through that. And that humility just helps you see things in a different way.
It really grounds you.
Yeah.
It really grounds you.
Yeah. Ironically, being so high
was there ever a point, like, I'm trying to envision, was it pretty, like, was it pretty level where you having to, like, basically rock climb certain parts? Was it were the paths relatively wide, or was it like you're basically walking on a log balancing, and if you fall over,
it was a little wider than body width.
Okay. So like what part of it got sketchy? Like, you really gotta focus.
Well, you're going up and there's some like markers of people
watch
who
your
died.
step.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
Like, you got these little memorials of people that died. But yeah, looking over the side and you just see like hundreds of yards down headlamps. You're like, that's like a straight drop. Like, I would die. I would roll down this mountain and die. And you can't really go back at a certain point because it's so skinny.
What I'm asking, because obviously you can look across the edge.
Yeah.
But I'm asking, like, based on the terrain of the path, is how are you on, like, I'm envisioning like you're just on this little ledge. Like, are you having to watch each step you take? Like, basically balance, like, don't take the wrong step, or you just
it's
gone?
Extremely slow. Like, watch each step, don't slip. Be careful for little indents on the gravel, right? Like, you don't want to get too close to the edge because you could break some of the earth and you just roll down.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to be very, very careful. And it's night, right? So it's like you have no sunlight. It's all your headlamp.
That's crazy. Climbing at night.
You're literally going like this slow, bro. It's like super slow. It takes 8 hours.
Yeah.
So
at least you can do it in a day. How many people die doing it?
I don't even know. I'm probably a decent amount.
Yeah.
Not as many as Everest, of course.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that die doing Everest.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is you can do that in a day. Everest, because you gotta climb up, spend the night, pitch a tent.
Yeah.
Then keep going.
Yeah, I mean, we had to spend the night at different parts, but yeah, like Everest is different, bro. And at least
then with Everest, you'll be climbing up and you'll see bodies frozen.
Yeah, it's like you can at least get the body on Kilimanjaro. They're still up there from like 10 years ago. Ugh. And they're frozen over, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
and Everest, you have, I think it's a 30 or 45 day window to climb it.
Really?
For the entire year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's weather patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And even then, it's like you're unsure, right? Storms could come randomly through.
Yeah, because that was my next question I was going to ask. What do you do if a storm comes in? I mean, how often does that
Pray.
happen? Like, I'd be curious to ask the locals, like, hey, I might ask after, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, if a storm came in when we were all the way up there, you know, what would we die, or has that happened? How often does that happen?
God, you probably have to just keep going. It depends where you're at, right? Because it's like,
Because I'm sure they're watching the weather before you go up,
for sure.
Like, they wouldn't send you guys up if there's.
I think the
something
terrain
coming in.
too, and just based on what it is, like you do get clouds, but I don't know. I don't know how many storms, to be honest. Like, I was trying not to even think about it. I was like, I'm just getting to the top. Like, whatever's gonna happen, I either get to the top or I die.
Just gonna trust God.
You know, it's only two options. So, and there's only one for me to choose. You know, so, and then it's like you can't go back again because it's so skinny. Like, people are coming up behind you. Like, what are you gonna freaking shove everybody off the mountain?
Would you do it again?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm chilling, bro. Like, I'm good on that one. If another mountain calls me, maybe, you know, in Alaska, like Denali or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm at that point. I'm like, I did that. I feel satisfied in my being, and I feel like it brought me what I needed to.
Yeah. It's one of those things you say you did.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
I don't really have a desire for Everest, to be honest with you. It's not one of,
That's another level.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a cool accomplishment, but I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm getting so much fulfillment from these other things where I'm like, I don't really want to.
Well, the way I see it, it's risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Everest, in my opinion, you're a psychopath.
You're different, bro.
Because I watched when I was young. I was probably like 12, 13 years old, but I watched a documentary on Everest, and I still never forget it to this day.
Yeah.
Because just the mortality, the amount of people that die on the mountain, like, you have a pretty good high percentage of something happening.
Yeah.
Or a storm comes and you get stuck up there.
I can't.
And they can't even send dude. The documentary I watched, I was 13 years old, but the guy got stuck up there. It's blizzarding, so they couldn't even send a chopper to get him. So he was stuck up there for, I think, like 2 or 3 days in this blizzard, in the snow. They got him, came back, had to amputate both of his legs,
bro,
because he was completely just
frozen.
Frostbite.
Oh
He almost died. And
Yeah.
It took him 6 months to recover.
Oh, bro.
I'm like,
I can't imagine.
that's not worth
that.
it.
I can't imagine. I saw this video of this guy who climbed Everest, and he was the first person to climb it, and he skied down the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to look it up on YouTube. It was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, he climbed it with no well, I'm sure he had some oxygen.
Yeah.
But he skied all the way down the freaking mountain.
That's
Some Red Bull crap.
yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, things like that, it does transform you and expand you, and we all need challenge, especially as guys.
I'd rather go down the mountain in a squirrel suit than
Yeah,
ski
that's
down
what
it.
I'm saying, bro. But yeah, we need that challenge, dude. Like, we have to have challenge because that's what brings out the best in us. Like, we
Yes.
have to go through the molding process,
Yes.
especially as guys, and we need that more today.
Man. Well, we're out of time, but what a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Mason, shameless plug, you got a book coming out.
Yes, sir.
Where can people find it?
This will be on Amazon April 12th.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be
And
sick.
then supplements, if people want to buy your supplements, how do they find them?
Yeah, go to the StampedeNetwork.com. They're also on Amazon. Check out the Stampede Network Instagram. You can go through my personal, which is at Mason Kuhr, Kuhr. So got all the links, everything there's ready to rock.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. You guys, if you took value from this podcast, like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode. God bless.